What's up guys, welcome to Beehive Grooming & Co. My name's Jordan Howa. Thank you so much for taking the time today to watch our video. Today I'm going to be doing a fun and creative cut on my buddy Colby and I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, please subscribe below, leave comments, and follow us on Instagram. I really want to hear your feedback and can't wait for you to check out this video. Enjoy it guys. I'm going to start this haircut on my dominant side with my Oster Classic 76 clippers with the 2-blade attached, using a feathering technique moving up toward the parietal ridge to maintain weight. I'll continue the same technique behind the ear in the mastoid process, holding the ear if I need to. Moving down into the nape, I'm going to maintain and leave as much weight as possible in the crown area. Through the back of the haircut, I'm going to allow the bone structure in the occipital area to tell me when to pull the clipper away from the head. And now if you'll notice, the weight is coming to a slight point in the occipital area. This is just a creative touch and something I like to do for his haircut. Be sure to cut against the grain for better efficiency. I'm now going to start my scissor over comb process on my dominant side at the top of segment 2 to blend and soften the weight lines that I had previously created with my 2-blade. Notice my hand position. The only finger that is moving is my thumb. I need to consciously focus and maintain this technique for a proper blend. Also, pay attention to how much of the steel blade I'm using, not the whole blade. Only about 1.5 inches to maintain consistency and accuracy with the ever-changing head shape. This also allows me to cut with the guide from the previous vertical section. Once I get to the occipital, my comb angle will be parallel to the round shape I had previously left. On the right side of the haircut, you can see the contour that we have created. On the non-dominant side of the haircut that we are on now, we are using a diagonal back comb angle to follow a rounded shape. If you look closely, you can see little slivers of hair shooting up from the scissor over comb. Weight lines live on the ends of the hair strand, not through the mid shaft, so we're only wanting to focus just on the very ends of the hair. I'm going to continue moving around the head shape from my dominant side, cutting against the grain to ensure continued efficiency. Once I'm done cutting the most suitable contour for my guest's head shape with my 6-inch cutting shears, I will begin the same motions but with my texture shears instead. Rather than just focusing on the ends of the hair, I'm going to focus on the mid shaft of the hair to reduce bulk. This will also add an additional bonus to the haircut: longevity. Once I'm done with the scissor work on the sides of the haircut, I'm going to move to my clippers. Here I have a 1 guard attached to my Andis Masters, and I'm moving in a feathering motion, blending from segment 1 up into segment 2. And currently the lever is closed. Just as before, I'm starting on my dominant side and working toward my non-dominant. By going vertical with the clipper in the comb, this will allow the hair to move more freely, allowing it to blend more softly. I'm using the fine teeth on my comb so I can get better tension. If you notice, I work in reverse. I started with my 2 blade, and then my 1, and now I'm working down into a 1/2 and a 0. I prefer to do it this way so I'm not having to fight any heavy lines. One way is not right, and one way is not wrong. This is simply just my way. Here I'm using the corner of my clippers, or a chipping technique, to blend any of those fine intricate lines between segment 1 and segment 2. Sometimes you'll need to finesse the lever to find just the right length. I use my non-dominant hand to help balance my clipper in my hand motion. This creates a pivot, so it will take stress off of my wrist, and I can actually use my hand and my fingers more to create my feathering movement. Again, utilize both feathering and chipping techniques to blend out any of the softer lines. Once the fade is completed, I'm going to use my Andis T outliner to blast out my lines. Once the outline is done, I'm going to go ahead and use it in the nape as well to create an even more seamless transition from hair to skin. Use a backhand position to get around the ear on your non-dominant side. And don't forget, you can move the ear to get into those hard to reach places. And don't forget the most important part of the haircut, the guest experience. After the guest has been washed out, I'm going to meticulously part the hair from the crown to the recession in the front hairline, and begin cutting in an overhand technique, creating a layer. In the back, I had to switch to a palm-to-palm technique because it required me to build weight rather than remove weight. I'm going to continue to part the hair in a diagonal back section because that is the natural direction of the hair. And by cutting it in the natural direction, it will reduce the need for blending later on and will also help the haircut grow out much better. As you can see, the hair is growing forward, so I'm going to continue that diagonal forward section now all the way to the front of the hairline. I'm also going to continue using the palm-to-palm hand position for several reasons. First, it will allow me to find and cut at the most efficient angle, and secondly, it will reduce any unnecessary stress on my wrist. At the front of the hairline, point cut rather than using a straight line for a softer look. Here I'm adding my first section from segment 3 into the back occipital area to connect the two together. To cut the top, I'm going to stand behind my guest. I want to maintain length in the front, so by standing in the back, I will naturally want to over-direct each section toward my body, preserving length in the front. I will only be directing to the previous section. If I wanted to maintain more length, I would direct all the way back to a stationary guide and continue to follow that all the way forward. Only cut to your second knuckle, not just to prevent cutting yourself, but more importantly to maintain consistent tension throughout the section. Clean sectioning is key to the success of any haircut. Point cut through the front of the haircut for added movement. Just like with scissor over comb earlier on, only use your thumb when cutting with your shears. Slide cutting is a very dynamic and aggressive way to add texture to segment 3. Be sure to keep the hair saturated so you slice through it rather than shred through it. Also remember to only slightly bounce the moving blade rather than closing it completely. Comb through the segment with the natural growth pattern to examine the haircut. Once the cutting is complete and has been verbally okayed by the guest, add foundation products and begin the style process. Use a flat wrap technique to help control the wave pattern and to help style out the haircut. Rough dry to remove any excess moisture. Once the hair is 100% dry, add a medium hold matte finish pomade to hold the style in place. And last but not least, lather up your Beehive Grooming & Co. Sandalwood Shaving Cream and straight razor the back of your guest's neck.